How you doing? This is Joe Crawford, retired NBA referee. Thank you for listening to the Crown Refs Podcast. Serve the game.
Your mission is clear, and obviously that was a big message that your dad gave you, and you're carrying it out, so I'm sure you're making him really proud.
And that's another thing, Paul. Someone says, as a scout, what do you look for in an official? I said, first thing I'll look at is character. Does he or she have character? And they go, you're kidding me. I said, no, because if you have character, you usually have courage. You think about it. You're usually teachable. You're usually coachable. You usually have a passion. And you're usually a self-motivator. And even if you don't make it to the NBA, you're going to make it somewhere if you have character.
All right, Mr. Battista, it's a pleasure to have you back on the Crown Refs podcast. This is your third time back. I know you've had two amazing episodes so far, so I just want to thank you for coming back on.
Well, thank you, Paul. It's an honor to be on here.
I know the last one we did, episode 66, sequencing and guidelines, was has been the most listened to episode. So I just want to really genuinely thank you for all of those gems that you gave the whole officiating community on those episodes.
It's my pleasure.
So today I want to get into how to effectively break down film. I know a lot of times we are told, we need to watch film and be a film junkie and pause, press the pause button. And that was some tactical advice that Mark Wunderlich gave us, but we're not given a lot of tactics on how to effectively watch film. Mm-hmm. So I know you have about 20 tips for us. Why don't we get in to the first one? What are you looking for, A, when you're scouting officials, and also when you're watching film?
Well, when I go out and scout referees, Paul, I'm also trying to help referees, not just saying, hey, you're a prospect, you're not, whatever. My goal is to try to help every referees. And can I give you a little history how this paper and project started?
Please do. Okay.
This project started, I got an email from a G League and WNBA referee, Tony Patillo, and then I got an email from a young official named Philip Hammond from the DC area, and it was basically the same thing. Go, what do you do when you break down tape? And I've heard this question many times. What do you do? What do you do? And I've been through a lot of tape sessions, and what I'm finding out, a lot of officials and just general instructors are just validating plays. And that's okay, but it's really not going to help your development as a referee. When I heard Mark's podcast, which was phenomenal, I just thought it was a phenomenal podcast. And I learned, every time I hear Mark speak, I learn so much. But what Mark said, which is very important for all of us, is wear out the pause button. That's really important. Wear that pause button out. And that is just so important. With that, I'm on a lot of these Zoom calls with just referees, and everyone goes, well, how many plays do you look at in an hour? I said, usually 3. And they go, 3? I go, yeah, because we don't really look at to see if it was right or wrong. We really look at focus at each position in the positioning, and then we get into just little things and so on. But the first thing that you should do anytime you pick up or you watch tape, do these things if you can. Find your clocks. So important because it will help your clock awareness. And 2, if you can, find your team fouls, because it would just help your awareness if you can. Sometimes you can't find it on the tape, but if you can find your clocks, your game clock and your shot clock, that's great. And sometimes it won't show up, but just get in that habit.
You have any good reminders for, quite frankly, remembering to frequently look up at the shot and game clocks?
Well, yeah, there's one that Ed Rush is teaching right now on the court club that's just phenomenal. And put yourself in the trail position, and as you come up a court, there's 4 things he's having officials do, which I think's great. 1 is find your team fouls. 3, find the formulation of the offense and the defense. In other words, you're finding all the players. And 4, get to the ball defender as quick as possible. So it's clocks, team fouls, formulation of offense and defense, and get to your ball defender as quick as possible. And that will help you, because what you want to do when you break down tape, you want to get into habits. You want to install good habits, because if you install, as Mark said, if you install habits and fundamentals, guess what? Your play calling is going to go off the charts.
All right, so talk to me about some of the examples that you listed in these slides.
Okay, well, I got my paper here. Well, I think the first thing that when you're breaking down tape, you got to say to yourself, how do I referee plays to the basket? And in my opinion, refereeing the lead on plays to the basket, it's very tough. Mm-hmm. And if you don't get to the secondary defender quickly, you're going to miss plays. And on these plays, when these plays are coming to the basket, when A1 beats B1 as a lead, you got to get to A2 or A3. Sometimes you have to pick which one can contest the play, and you got to get to them as quick as possible. If you don't, that play is going to blow up on you, and you're just going to be refereeing contact. But the longer you can process it and see it, it's going to slow down for you. Okay, so plays to the basket, you got to pick up that secondary defender as quick as possible. And you can do it on tape. It's just a tape drill. I'm in the lead. Where's my secondary? There they are. Pick it up. In fact, Donnie Epley and I did that this morning. We was breaking down a tape with Donnie. I said, okay, we're just going to work on fundamentals and positioning and where we're going to look. Okay, we're going to put ourselves in the lead. Here comes the play. Forget the ball. I'm picking up the secondary defender. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again, and so on. And again, this is not mine. I want to credit. This is Mark Wunderlich's, and if everyone does that, it would take us better. The next thing is, are you patient in the lead? And I've talked this before. And the lead position is psychologically, you're in a state of anxiety because everyone's coming at you. They're coming at you fast, and so on. In the lead, watch on film where you're.
Just want to stop you real quick. That's a really interesting point that you said. In lead, all the players are coming at you, because in the trail, usually they're going away from you. In the C, same thing. Usually they're going away from you. So that's just a really interesting point. That's why we feel that sense of anxiety, because you got players coming at us.
Right.
Go ahead. That was good.
And the other thing too is, when plays are coming at you, easier said than done. Don't have an adrenaline flow or have anxiety, because if you do, you're going to start missing plays. And this is hard, but you got to do that. For example, I heard Michael Taylor, who plays center field for the Nationals, said, anytime I get an adrenaline flow, I strike out. But anytime I'm poised and relaxed, I hit the ball well. I get that adrenaline flow, I strike out, and I get fooled. Very interesting that he said that. It almost pertains to the lead. So in the lead, when you watch yourself on tape, and you pick up that defender, you should be saying legal,
mm-hmm.
legal,
mm-hmm.
block shot, or verticality, play on, or legal, illegal, foul. So if you can get in that habit of processing, you just, instead of just going foul, block shot, whatever, That's going to help you. So look at how you time it, because I've been working with some referees. They go, I was a little late. I go, no. I said, that's real. You're processing it very well. So it's legal, block shot, play on, or it's legal, illegal, foul, boom, and so on. So, and to get these plays right, look at your feet, because if you're in these neutral stances, in the lead, you tend to jump at plays, but if you get on your back foot, you'll remain patient, and you'll be able to process. You'll remain patient. I go, wow, I never even thought of that. And so on. And again, it's just a little thing, where your feet are, and so on.
So talk to me about being in a dependable position, and how do we know when we're in a dependable position?
Now, the first thing is, don't get confused when you get in your starting positions or your home positions or your dependable positions. They're all the same. They're just different rule book language. But once you get there, those are your starting points. Then you're going to move to improve your angles. So your starting point in the trail is a 28-foot line. Your starting point in the center is the free throw line extended. And your starting point in the lead is the 3 post-up mark, which I realize in Fed and NCAA men, they don't have that mark, but it's basically between where you close down and maybe a step to your left, or right, depends what side of the court are you on. Okay, but that's where you're going to start from. And the trail in the center or slot, depending again what level you're working, you want to stay attached to the sideline, then attack your angles. Okay, some individuals call it sideline oriented, but start there and then attack. Don't start the other way, because if you do, there's a good chance of you walking into straight lines. Okay?
Yeah.
And if you are in a straight line, just say, oh, I'm in a straight line. I must get out of my straight line. I must get open look, open angle. As Mark says, do your work early. If you know they're going somewhere, get there before they can. In the trail, don't overrun plays, because if you overrun plays, you lose your big picture mentality.
You just mean simply run past the ball?
Yes.
The ball line?
Yeah. In the center, I see a lot of centers just getting down too low. Just remember the center. It's very simple. If the ball's low, you're 1 step high. If the ball's high, you're 1 step low, and work like that to get your angles. Now, sometimes in the center, which is interesting, sometimes the players will force you down. They'll push you down there. Try to keep your open angle, but try to work your way back to that free throw line extended if you can.
Okay.
Okay.
You
but
said
if
you don't want to
do your
go
best to get that open look.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're stacked or straight line, you got to get your open look. The other thing on tape, sometimes I was watching the tape today, and I go, and I was again, I'm big with Ibo, and I love Ibo, and I think what Donnie Epley and Felix are doing is phenomenal. But I was talking to Donnie, go, oh, look at that. Donnie goes, what? And I said, the official was in great position and then walked right into a stack. And when I work with referees, they get depressed. I said, don't get depressed. I said, I've done that. Everyone's done that. Last night, we were in our board 12. We were having a little Zoom session, and an official in the lead had a great angle. And guess what they did? They walked right out of the angle. And they go, everyone does this. If you have an open look, stay there. Okay? And that's very important in so on. And the reason I say when I'm looking at referees, because my goal also too, just a personal goal, I'm also trying to help all referees. I'm not trying to hurt anybody or say, hey, you're not a prospect, you know, I'm done, I'll see you. Or someone that is a very good official, but just like hitters, they have hitting coaches. So it's the same thing here, say, you know, and so on. The other thing too is, and this is very hard to do, and we do it naturally, and I call it driver's eyes, referee with driver's eyes, especially when you're in the lead. So once A1 beats B1, lift your eyes, as Mark says, and get to your secondary defender. And you can do that for all three positions. Like as a trill, once A1 beats B1, okay, I'm refereeing that backside defender for the lead, and the same in the C. Okay, so always get in the habit of lifting your eyes, especially on closely guarded counts. I mean, I see a lot of referees that get really hooked in closely guarded counts, and that's okay. And I'm not saying not to have them. You want to have your closely guarded count, but lift your eyes so you get a little bit more of a panoramic view. Okay. Also, lift your eyes when you're coming up the court, because you have to see the formulation of the offense and the defense. And a lot of officials tell me, well, I can't do that. I go, well, you do it when you drive. Think about it when you're on the freeway. You're on 95, you're lifting your eyes to look for exits or to get around somebody.
Is that what you mean by when you say officiate from the top of their eyes?
Yeah, top of your eyes, driver's eyes, lifting your eyes.
I like that comparison to vehicles on the road, comparing them to defenders, secondary defenders.
Yeah, the other thing too, as a lead, are you rotating effectively? You know, just remember, and I'm not picking on Donnie, but Donnie goes, oh, look at this, Alec. And I said, okay, you were ready to rotate, but it was just a tad too late. And what it did is it put the center, who is now the trill, in the bad spot, but they hung there, and they had to really sprint back. And rebound coverage, the crew kind of lucked out, but it broke down. Just remember, when you rotate the three immediates by Ed Rush, immediate one, do not rotate on an immediate shot. Do not rotate an immediate dribble drive. Do not rotate on a skip or entry pass. So go over your three immediates. So when you're breaking down tape, and I admire Donnie because, oh, look at this rotation. It's not good. No problem. It's an easy fix.
Yeah.
But the key is you're saying, oh, that's not good. Okay, that can be fixed. Okay. Are you sequencing plays like, when you catch the ball in the perimeter, what's your sequence? You know, and Mark did it. These are all Marks, by the way. Once you catch it on the perimeter, I just say referee 70% offense and 30% defense. So we're going to go feet, pivot, release. I just take it a step further, just for me and for development of referees. Find the waist of the defender or find their eyes. It will dictate what their hands will do. That will be hard to do, to find their waist or their eyes, because you're getting these anxiety issues because you just want to find them as quick as possible. But on tape, if you start finding their waist and their eyes, it's going to speed your eyes up and it's going to help you. Also, another sequencing is on a three-point shot. You know, find the screen, the line, three-point line, the waist of the defender, okay? So it's screen, line, waist of the defender. Screen, line, waist of the defender. Jump shots, up, down, rebound. So up, down, rebound. Also a play calling guideline is one of Joey Crawford's, one of his. If the jumper jumps first, okay, the jumper that's defending the play, if they jump first, the defensive jumper, they usually foul if they jump first. If the defensive jumper jumps second and the offensive goes first, they usually contest the shot. So, just something to think about. Mark also says another sequence is aim small, miss small. So where they usually foul? They usually foul from the wrist on down. So aim there. If they get hit, legal, hit, legal. So on any of these plays, to go to your point of contact, aim small, miss small. And so when you go to point of contact, driver's eyes again, you're going to have to lift your eyes again. You're also going to have to lift your chin again. So, because if you keep your chin straight, you can't lift your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, aim small, miss small. I like to compare that to just being a sniper out there when we're searching for that point of contact on jump shots where, we are looking in a very small, defined, specific space.
Right. We talked about open angles and stacks. The other thing too is for development. When we go into someone's secondary, and I talked about this takes practice. Okay, so in other words, Paul, there's a play right in front of me, and I'm in the lead, and it's a foul, and you see it. Okay, and it's got to be called. Well, that's a strike. It's got to be a strike right down the middle, not on the corners. You wait, you give me a chance, and then you come and get it. And it's not about my ego. It's about getting plays right. The second piece of this is if a play's in my primary and you're coming real quick on it and you're not giving me a chance, that's dangerous because you could be hurting the crew dynamics because you could be speeding my whistle up and it could hurt my play calling. So when you're watching tape, you want to say, okay, Paul's primary, not mine. Okay, foul. Paul doesn't have. I got to come and get that foul. That play was a strike right down the middle. Now, if it's a play, I'm not sure. It's on the corners. I'm not sure. I pass and get. Or if it's a play that's on the corners and I come and get, and everyone's going, what? Okay, man, that's not good. Okay, I know what to do now.
Now, I've always loved this baseball analogy with regards to primary and secondary.
I just think we're helping, and that goes along with the timing of your whistle. Okay, there it is, strike right down the middle. He has no call. Boom, I got to get it. And you can actually do that as a drill. You could say, okay, I'm the lead, Paul, you're the trill. Plays right in front of you. You don't get it, I come and get it. Just pretend. Plays right in front of you. You don't get it, I come and get it. And so on. Effort and urgency. Do you show effort and urgency? In other words, do you sprint from trill to lead? Do you sprint from trill to lead? Do you beat the ball down, every single time, every single game, whether it's a CYO game or a Division I game or whatever, you're doing that because you want to show effort and urgency. With that, when you go from trill to lead, find the last defender or the defender that can hurt you the most. So when you're watching the tape, go, oh, there's the one that can hurt me the most. I'm going to get them. That's something that Donnie and I did today. I said, okay, we're just going to go trill the lead and find the last defender. Okay, who is it? It's 4. Okay, who is it? It's 2. Who is it? It's 5. Okay, let's constantly do that. You can also do that just drilling yourself. You can go, you pretend you're a trill. You step with 1 foot forward in the stagger stance. You go rebound, secured, 528. You go, and then you can have someone at the other end of the court with a playing card and just put a playing card up like a 5 of diamond. Just go, red 5 is my defender. You can do it real slow.
Have you conducted these type of drills with officials in a gym?
Yes, I have. I've done it with the RDP officials in New York and with IVO Board 12 and with a small group in New Jersey that Kaz Beverly runs. So we've done them, and you have to do them really slow. And I got this idea is when I never said I liked coaching baseball. I always said I managed baseball. But I used to tell my players that you win or lose on rainy days when you practice in the gym, and we would do little drills like, they were baseball. And one day I was working with the RDP officials in New Jersey, and I said, okay, come on, we're going to do drills. And they go, what? We're going to do drills? And they thought they were crazy. And when the games were over, to go, everything you talked about, not to pat myself on the back, because I just made a lot of these up. They said, it happened in the game. And I said, yeah, and you were ready for it. Because I said, think about it. You were all ex-players, and didn't you have walkthroughs? They said, yes, we did. I go, well, why as officials we don't have walkthroughs?
Yeah, that's true. We have a pregame, we have watching film, we have reffing and talking about it, but like we don't have any drill.
Why don't we just get together on a court and just walk through things?
It's interesting.
So, do you have substitution awareness? Do you know who's coming in and out of the game? I don't want to get in a rule session here, but why do you have to have substitution awareness? Because every game has its own personality, and who's coming into the game could change the personality of the game. And you have to be very observant. Why are they coming in the game? Are they coming in to foul? Are they coming in to shoot 3 points? Are they coming in maybe to disrupt the game? Are they coming in because to get some playing time? So you have to know all that and be aware of all that. And so on.
Al, I see a lot of officials, two officials beckoning subs, holding the sub. We only need one, right? Tableside official can handle that. It's a one-man job.
Right. Here's something we never talk about. In fact, the last June Referee magazine, I don't know this gentleman, but I'm going to get my Referee magazine. But do you mind if I get Darren Drake? Darren Drake, I don't know if he's listened to this podcast, but
yeah, I know Darren.
He wrote a phenomenal article on the mental game.
Yeah, A to Z.
A to Z, just phenomenal. And we really never talk about the mental game. And a couple years ago, I was with Tim Laron, and Tim Laron, who's the IVO liaison for FIBA in Canada. I was driving him to the airport. I go, how do we get officials better mentally? And he said, let's talk, let's think about this. And we really not, and he said, well, there's self-talk and this and that. And then I was on a scouting call with my scouting team, JB Caldwell and Diana, and Diana DePaul and Samson. Diana did a very nice podcast as well. And Samson Brew said, I'm going to lead the scouting call today. And he did something on elite mindset. And it was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So what I look for, sometimes when I'm watching someone referee to help with their development, when someone gets on them, I call it, do they cave? Do they cave? And if they do, then we got to sit down and talk and work this. We got to, why are you caving? Why are you getting distraught? Why are you being distracted? What's throwing you off? It could be many things. And it's very important. Give you an example. I was in a locker room and crew came down, and I watched them in the first half, and it was a DC Catholic League, and they were excellent. And they came down, and did they get every call right? No. And I'm hearing them talk, and they're going, oh boy, this coach and this and that. I said, stop. I said, you guys didn't get every call right, but you're doing a good job. Don't let them get into your psyche. Don't cave. That's the last thing you need to do. Go back out there and do what you're doing. And I said, because they want to get into your psyche. And I'm not knocking coaches. It could be the heat of the moment or tense, whatever. But I said, you can't let that happen. And so when I'm watching something, does this, I've been with JB. I've learned so much from JB as a scout, but he always said, okay, Al, let's see if they cave. Because if they cave, okay, we need to talk and we're going to work with you and we're going to help you. Does that make sense?
That's all you do is you make sense.
No, but if, believe me, we've all caved. We've all caved. And you just got to go back and just say, man, why did I cave? What do I need to do? Whatever. And there's a lot of, I heard Michael Rapp on the Court Club just give, he did a thing on sports psychology. It's going to come out on the IBO Zoom session. That was just phenomenal. And I'm no expert in sports, but I just think something that, in other words, when you're refereeing, don't put yourself in a box. Don't be cocky, but don't put yourself in a box. You're going to miss plays. Go to your next play. Easier said than done.
Yeah, that next play mentality. As much tension and pressure as we feel on the court, we almost have to be stress-free. We almost have to find that filter where we're still unaffected by the noise.
Yeah, and this also goes for signers too, and because sometimes, I'm not knocking the signers, but sometimes the signers are in a lot of pressure. They have to say, okay, why, you're missing this plays because you're out of position, or you're missing these plays that, it's a psychological. It has something to do with sports psychology. Are you getting intimidated? Are you doubting yourself? Let's work on this. Instead of saying, oh, they can't referee on this level. That's not the cure. The cure is, in my opinion, okay, what's the problem here? You refereed 24 minutes, great, and then the last 3 minutes you went in the tank. Why? Well, I'm a perfectionist. I missed one play. Okay, well, you're not going to get them all right. So that is something that has to be, I think, you have to work with officials with, and so on. It's just like hitters, why are you in a slump? Why can't you get the ball over the player, or the catcher can't throw the ball back to the pitcher, but they can throw a strike to second base, so it's something I think that has to be looked at and worked at. But back to the next point, do you work every possession hard? Like, okay, I watch you work a college game and you work the game really hard. Then I find you working a men's rec game where I like to look for these lower level games, because you can work on some, and you're out there loafing. Really? Why are you loafing here? This is where you can really work on your craft. And that just tells you something about the person. Are they really in it for officiating, or are they really in it for a materialistic mode? And so on, because every game you work, you should work hard, or you should be working at your game. And there's nothing wrong with doing like a men's rec game or whatever, wherever you are. I know if you're big, if you're working a lot of Division I games, but if you're just working basketball and you're trying to get to levels, those lower level games is like your batting practice. You're going to work them hard, but here is where you're going to really refine things, like from trill to lead. You're going to pick up the last defender. My clocks. I'm going to skip my shooter. I'm going to go feet, pivot, release, waste the defender. This is where I'm going to all develop it, and I'm going to make mistakes here and so on, and that's how you're going to get better. The next thing is, and this can be taught. Someone says, you can't teach feel for the game. Yes, you can. I believe you can. It's, again, you got to coach the person and talk to the person. Like, for example, feel for the game. Teams down by 25, there's a minute 25 to go in a game, they've lost, and you call 3 seconds against them, and oh yeah, you're right by rule, and you got one right on the tape, and you helped your tape scores, but did that really help this game? You know, and now you're getting pushback, and basically you cause it all yourself. I'm not saying not to call 3-second violations or this or that or get obvious plays, but again, each game has its own personality, and you're saying, do we really need that now? You know, or are teams up by 35 and they're on offense, and we call a hand check out on the perimeter, and they're going to go up to the line to go up by 37. Okay, where we could just maybe wait a little bit, or as Monty likes to use the word discern, just discern a little bit, see what happens. Okay, they got off. Okay, we're good to go. Let's keep playing, and so on. So in other words, do you have a feel for the game? And a feel for the game is just going out and watching games and being open-minded and just see what you have every game and go from there. You just can't be so legalistic or rulistic. You just got, every game has its own personality. Every level has its different nuance, and you have to pick that up, and so on. Next thing, back to sports psychology. If someone misses a call, and then this kind of relates it, do you go into a box? In other words, now you're always striving for perfection instead of striving for excellence. So now you missed a call, and you're having this great game, and then your game just, you don't do well. And why? Well, I missed a travel out there. Okay, you missed it. Go to the next play. And, you know, so those are things that I look for. Ashley Moyer says something that I learned. She goes, if she misses a play, she times herself to see when she can recover psychologically. Great teaching point. I go, wow, I never thought about that one. I go, that's a good one. That's really a good one. So, you know, and then the more she can get back into the game psychologically, you know, the better she gets. But the last thing with that for everybody, don't defeat yourself. You know, if you're on these calls or whatever, and everyone's not going to get to the NBA or Division I, but that doesn't mean you're a bad referee. You don't know where this journey is going to take you. But never put yourself in a box. Keep going. You're going to have your good days. You're going to have your bad days. And just keep going and don't quit. There's a group called the Running Herd. It's a great group that breaks down tape in Philadelphia. In fact, there are officials all over the world on a call. Mm-hmm. And we'll go, okay, we have a foul, okay? And we'll go, where would you put that foul in FIBA? Because there's a lot of young people from Australia and Ireland, and they go, spot of infraction, okay? Where do we put it in Federation? Spot of foul. Where do we put it? And these are fouls in the front court. Where do we put it in NCAA men? Well, the 4 spots. NCAA ladies, the 4 spots. Where would we put that ball in the NBA on that foul? Point of interrupt. Okay, so now because everyone is at a different level that's on these calls, if you do things like that, it's just going to help you. I just thought I had to mention that. When I run and walk, do I look poised? Do I look athletic? My pants, are they tailored? Are they tapered? I remember, I'll just tell you another story. I hate that these stories pop up and they're learning. But Louis Grillo, who I refereed in Board 12 with in the MEAC and was my supervisor in the MEAC, goes, would you please taper your pants? He always used to tell me, would you taper your pants?
With some
your
baggy
pants are
pants?
too long. Huh?
You had some baggy pants back in the day?
Yeah, I mean, they were just too long. And he was doing it to help me. And it said, you'll just look better. Do you exude confidence with your signals? You know, practice your signals. Don't be robotic with your signals. Be explicit with your signals. Do you look poised? In the state of Maryland, we walk and talk to the table. So we always are working on our cadence to the table. And this is something I learned from Scott. We call it the 6-step cadence or 8-step cadence. And it just looks a lot more athletic and a lot more poised, my opinion. Okay. I'm not, whatever your state tells you to do, or, do that, but do you look poised? Do you look athletic, and so on? Do you have good body language? Is your body language, you got to be careful sometimes to laugh on the floor. Smiling, I think, is okay. Laughing can set off coaches or fans. You got to be very careful. And just my opinion, you look at your body language, have a poker face, and do you have good clock awareness? Do you have good substitution awareness that we talked about? So those are, Mike and I are similar on a lot of the things.
Shout out to Mike for that list, for creating these slides, and also for providing some good plays that we're going to look at. Al, can I invite you to come look at some plays now with us?
Yeah, I'm going to have to get a little closer.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back.